video. It's been amazing seeing so much support for new topics over the last couple of weeks, which is perfect for me because I continue to fall deeper and deeper back into my old teenage Yu-Gi-Oh! Addiction by the day. The research I did for the last couple of videos had me going through the entire original Yu-Gi-Oh! Story, both the entire manga and a rewatch of the original anime. When you go through a show like this in such a huge binge, you start to notice some patterns that you might not have remembered when you first saw this show every once in a while. Stuff like, gee, Yugi sure gets bailed by magical hats a whole bunch, or man, this card doesn't ever seem to help Yugi, or oh my god, does he stack the deck just so that he can start with a mediocre Mystic Guardian every game? It got me thinking. In the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Story, what are Yugi's consistently best and worst monsters? Whenever we see a monster hit the table, what are the odds that that monster's going to help lead Yugi to a big fat W? After going through all these battles over and over again, I did my best to devise a system for determining card value using Yugi's duels. I call it OICAG, or how often is Yugi's card actually good? Each duel I awarded a score to each monster that Yugi played, based on its overall value during the game. The main thing I tried to score here was board position value. Every time a monster destroys an opposing monster, that's plus 1 point. And if a monster gets destroyed by the opponent, that's minus 1 point. Since Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a game of life points, I also wanted to give a little love to the creatures that go to the base. If a monster deals life point damage, I awarded 3 tiers of points depending on how much damage it did in the duel in total. Plus 0.5 points for damage less than 25% of an opponent's max life points, plus 1 point for dealing 25 to 75%, and plus 1.5 points if you do a massive attack of 76% or above. Similarly, I deducted points for cards that ended up costing Yugi life points during the duel, typically by being destroyed in attack position. Anytime a card ended up costing Yugi his life points, I deducted 1 point from their duel score. Because duels are anime fights and almost always end in a single card making a miraculous, specific combo at the perfect time, I also gave love to cards that delivered the killing blow, either dropping life points to 0 or forcing an opponent to concede. Plus 1 points to monsters if they dealt the killing blow in a duel. Sometimes the most useful thing a card does is sacrifice itself to become part of something bigger. I awarded half a point to cards if they were intentionally tributed for tribute summons, rituals, fusions, or card effects. Finally, and this was the toughest thing to consider, I also awarded plus 1 point to monster cards that provided a significant positive effect activation during the game. Things like allowing Yugi to draw more cards, Karibo saving Yugi from taking life point damage, that kind of effect. I also awarded 0.5 points if a monster allowed Yugi to use a specific combination spell or trap card. For example, Yugi can only use the Mystic Box card with Dark Magician in the anime, and Karibo is almost always the only card that allows him to use Multiply. I really wanted to put my main focus on the value of a monster card by themselves, but if their existence is necessary for another card in Yugi's deck to work, I decided to give a small reward for it. This total point system is far from perfect, and there are so many moments where I had to jump in and make a subjective decision for weird scoring decisions. And since this is a question of consistency, I took a monster's total score and divided it by the total number of duels that they were a participant in. In order to get something remotely close to a sample size, I made a rule to only count cards that participated in at least 3 duels. Sorry, Exodia! As far as which duels we looked at, I decided to follow the anime this time around, but I still did keep a focus on the manga canon duels. Mostly this means the 2 big arcs that everyone remembers the most, Duelist Kingdom and Battle City. I think I ended up letting a couple of filler battles squeak in here or there between the 2, but I skipped the biggest filler arcs, Noah stuff, Orichalco stuff, these pink-haired dudes, the movies. I also skipped duels where Yugi wasn't using his own cards, that type of stuff. This still gave us 26 individual duels to analyze, and at the end of pages and pages of logging and double-checking my work using that fantastic Yu-Gi-Oh! Fandom wiki log, we ended up with 22 eligible monsters, all with a final score and average here somewhere on this chart. I'll save the top 5 and bottom 5 for last, but here's my official OICAG middle of the pack. Oh boy, we've got a lot to unpack here. I think the biggest thing that jumps out to me right away is this, right here. Dark Magician just barely whiffs the cut for top 5. I always think of this card as Yugi's ace in the hole, full of tricks and cheats to automatically win the game when Yugi needs him to, but I was surprised to see how few games Yugi actually wins using Dark Magician specifically, and how many times Dark Magician himself gets tossed. Ghost Kaiba cooks him with blue eyes, Mai crushes him with Harvey's pet dragon, Rebecca's Shadow Ghoul eats him up. He still puts in a lot of work over the candidate-leading 14 duel appearances he showed up in, but some of those lackluster performances kept him a little lower than I expected. Summon Skull on paper is fantastic, and Yugi's strongest one tribute monster, but we don't get to see a ton of it past Battle City, where they actually introduce tributes into the game rules. He also has a serious Pegasus problem, getting timed out in Fight 1, and then humiliated in Fight 2 by getting dunked on and then turned into a Toon copy. It actually seems pretty appropriate to me that Karibo is right here in the middle. He has some huge multiply moments that saves life points every now and then, but most of the time he was just a meat shield to block damage in defense mode. And Celtic Guardian stands as the lone force before we enter the treacherous bottom 5. He's the perfect example of the early game grunt that tries his best, but eventually gets whooped before Yugi pulls out the big guns. Now, normally for this kind of video, I save the worst for last, since you guys just love to see me tear stuff to shreds, but I'm gonna do the bottom 5 next. Mostly because they're all here for the same reason. These cards got destroyed without contributions consistently. Classic early game chumps. They're trash cards, and getting trashed is what they do. Except this one at the top. Giant Soldier of Stone? It has 2,000 defense, and it destroyed the moon! How'd it get down here? Well, it had that one shining moment, and then it got destroyed in defense mode for 4 consecutive duels after that. I guess you could say this stone crumbled under the pressure. And at last, we got the cream of the crop. The cards that helped Yugi the most, or more accurately, let him down the least. Number 5 is Alpha the Magnet Warrior? Really? Okay, first I kind of scratched my head on this one, but the numbers do add up. The true alpha of the Magnet Bros actually delivers a killing blow against Seeker in his debut, and it also consistently contributes by either destroying monsters or offering itself as a tribute. Number 4 is my girl, the one and only waifu, Dark Magician Girl. Her main highlight for points was her debut dunking on Arcana, but she also has a handful of solid performances and card-specific trick cards, such as the Merrick-obliterating Ragnarok that was split between Dark Magician and herself. Number 3 and number 2 are actually tied, both creatures racking up plus 4 points over 3 duels. One of these 2 semi-finalists is Slifer the Sky Dragon, Yugi's OG God card that negates effects, instantly destroys weak creatures with its second mouth, and has an incredibly high attack ceiling. This Crimson creature cremates Bakura and holds its own against Kaiba, giving it an astounding 2-game debut. The thing that really docked Slifer's points was a poor performance against Merrick, getting gobbled up by Ra not once, but 2 different times. Our other second-place finisher is the one and only Catapult Turtle. This card's a straight-up gangster, launching its own allied cards at the opponent for wild effects. It launches into Panic's castle and buries his whole army, it annihilates Mai's pet dragon, it flings the Millennium Shield to oblivion. Just don't mess with the turtle. But our number 1, most powerful, and most consistently helpful, best card Yugi uses is Beast of Guilford? I expected, I don't know, anything else? Not this? Now, Beast of Guilford barely qualified for my metrics by appearing in only 3 duels, but the biggest thing that somehow put this card here is that Beast of Guilford can do no wrong. It only does good things. Yugi intentionally discards it to equip itself and weaken Lupus and Umbra. It trucks its way to multiple destroyed cards against the possessed Joey, and it absolutely dominates in the 4-player free-for-all, destroying a monster, staying alive, and dealing its full attack value to Joey's life points. It just only does good things for Yugi every time it hits the field, and based on all his other cards, that's pretty damn rare. And would you look at what I've got? Right here. It's the Beast of Guilford itself, now called the Archfiend of Guilford here at the physical trading card game. We crunched the numbers, did the math, and I'm offering this incredibly powerful best Yu-Gi-Oh card in the world to you, the viewer. And since I'm a generous man, let's start the bidding at 1 crisp $50 bill. What? Oh, no. Don't trust those scammer sites like eBay and such. No, those are incorrect. You see, those websites didn't take into account all the math. Did they do all the numbers like this? No, the numbers never lie. Thank you very much. Please send your money today.